Welcome back, my dear friends. Welcome back to ever so amazing, sexy Europa Barbarorum when I'm playing one of my favorite mods of all time, Europa Barbarorum, be it for Rome 1 or Medieval 2. In all honesty, the greatest mod. And why is that really? Why is that I like this mod so much? First and foremost, one thing that most people never care about is reading, and to me, of course, that is the most important thing about any mod or game that has a lot of information about certain units. We have read already a lot of those things, and a lot of information about specific regions and unique things to these provinces, should I say, not regions, they're provinces. Another thing that I love very so much, I like the province of Hadramaut. You can read a lot of detail, historical details, and all the beautiful stuff, and as you can see, it's a long ass text, right? And most people will just say, meh, who cares about that? They just look at what it provides, and that's about it. And that's another thing I really like, and specifically the thing that I always look in Let's Plays is the way people get into the information about specific races, factions, or whatever, be it in the Total War, or be it in the whatever other game that actually has a lot of information about specific lore, about specific faction, country, and all that. Units. And what I've noticed in many years now, specifically to Total War, it has less of information about factions and units. It's very small amount, and it's universal for many units even. And what I love about this mod again is the information they are providing us here, and if you're willing, you will read and enjoy it if you're actually interested in. Now, I'm not a person that also reads a lot in, well, I read, but today it's easier to read books, I guess, for me at least, than it was when I was younger. But I like lore that modders, specifically modders, not the developers, official developers, but I also look at that, give a lot of information about certain events and stuff like that. Like if you ever played Heroes of Might and Magic 4, not 3, 4, which is my favorite Heroes of Might and Magic game. It wasn't always like that, but it became my favorite Heroes of Might and Magic game. And it has a massive walls of texts and story about it and all that. And not about the unit specifically when you go over the unit and stuff like that, but when event happens, you have a huge text. I did Let's Plays on those beautiful things. And I was impressed by that, because and someone has to put all this text at some point, right? And say like, well, maybe they will read, maybe they won't. And to me, it's very important that I will read now immediately what we captured. We have captured Shawat in province of Hadramaut. So again, let's first zoom in and see that we now have the entire south of the Arabia. Entirety of Southern Arabia, that is. Now, in front of us is, of course, Eremos, but I call it the Rub al-Khali, which actually it should be the Rub of al-Khali. I always add off al-Khali, but just Rub al-Khali. The desert, the great desert, the most unique desert in the world. So, what I'm going to be doing first and foremost, I think there were events of certain, but I don't know what happened there. I think I gained some traits, I did not read it. Now that I reload, I do not have those events and stuff like that, but I believe my units actually gained some traits. That is our leader, Luhail Malk Saba, who was actual leader of this battle, and of course he gained some traits. Forced marching expert. This man has a knack of getting his men to give 110%. This may be due to the force of will or personality, special insight or knowledge he's gained from subordinates, or even fear. This general will avoid the deleterious effects of forced marching. Excellent. Malk Saba. This man is a king of Saba and his member. Wait, he's a king? King of Saba? Wait, is he now our heir? It just says family member. It just says family member, my dear friends. let's go into the family tree. Now, by the way, last time I was like, who and how do you look at these trees, family trees? Honestly, in that specific moment, I was like, what the hell is happening? But anyway, this is how I'm gonna be going for it. It basically tells us that Luchayach is a son of course, Malkun Sumcha, like Malk Saba, the great king of Saba, and he has more children. He has Shachar Ilyanuf, a son of 14, and a daughter, Namar Ilyanuf. So there you go. He, our prince, the possible heir, possibly the king of Saba, will have brother and a sister. Now, of course, it's Farim el-Watar that gained a daughter, or sorry, a son, Yazil el-Watar, and his brother brother-in-law Halik Bayin, and his sister, that is the sister of Faram el-Watar, don't have any children. There you go. Now, of course, I don't know, for some reason it made me like, who is what and what is who? Whose children are these? So I'm just gonna look at that way, Hell's Bells, and just look at where the lines go, demon. Hell's motherfucking bells, and that's it. So anywho, that is what I wanted to see. But again, the thing is, it says he is a Malk Saba. But again, interestingly enough, it says King of Saba, and of course he is the member of House of Sahin. He is the leader of Sabian tribe, not yet. So there is that. Winter, okay, movement restriction possible this season. Enemy camp captured. I don't get this, minus 50% movement whatsoever, but it's okay. Public unrest and civil unrest. We have the garrison that is holding this public order at the moment. The difference, of course, arid nomadism and the eastern tribal states. 3%, definitely the highest compared to the urbanized tribal states and the Eastern Imperial. Now, considering this, is that we have no battles in the future, in the near future at least, until I actually kind of secure all these provinces tightly. I make them sure that we have the necessary loyalty from the subjects within these provinces. So first and foremost, my first thing is going to be the construction, if we have the money. We have no money at the moment. In the next season, we'll have 3,492. That's the projected treasury toll. So there is that. Now also, merchant trade and trade. We have no merchants whatsoever, so I'm guessing specifically it says about the merchants that we would usually have in medieval total war. The trade alone gives us now 562. I think we now have a trade with our friends here. That is the Seleucids. Did they even try a trade with this tribe here? I cannot remember, in all honesty. Let's move in, because my mind is like, what, where, and how? Okay, there you go. I do not actually have any trade with these bastards at the moment. Let's see if Zarisha Masri, our diplomat, will be able to do any difference till make some... They're neutral towards us. Hopefully, Captain Ausos will have enough of authority to give us trade. Hopefully, I say. It's one of the tribes you can actually play with. One of the factions, that is. So... Captain Ossus, you have proposition for our people. Reputation is mixed. He is there, capable, poor, arid nomadism. They are allied with our enemy, possible enemy, but they're the enemy they're the faction we need to destroy. That is the Ptolemy dynasty, and they only have at the moment one enemy, and that is of course the rebel factions or the smaller tribes. I want trade rights if possible. Proposal is balanced. Let's see if they reject it or barely accept it. So that is a good thing. What I want to see is immediately go on to the financial 567. So at the moment we gain nothing out of it. At the moment, let's see for the next turn how that's gonna be. So that's done with them. That our action with this beautiful Captain Ossus. He actually had enough of a power to give us trade barely, but still trade is there. How we're gonna gain it? Probably due to our port that we have many, and you can actually see, and this is what I wanted to see. We are gaining immediate trade with them, it would seem, whatever the faction. I forgot actually to read the damnable name of the faction, but there is that. Anywho, so we have captured, of course, Hadramaut. We could read about Hadramaut, but before we go to Hadramaut, we have other things to read. The Bab el-Mandeb, the Red Sea Strait. This is one thing I have not read, and I was saying I will read it at some point. Slowly, again, this is the video, there won't be any battles. So in this video, I'm gonna just go between gameplay, build stuff a little bit, and read a lot. So again, I know this is, for many people, this is boring. To me, this is amazing. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy myself actually reading this crap that I wouldn't usually read that much. I will just read half of it if I played by myself, and that's about it, because I have no patience. But when I do actually these Let's Plays, I have more patience that way, because after all, it is, if I'm gonna make a video, I'm gonna make a video especially about a mod and something I enjoy. I'm gonna put a full amount of love towards this thing. So again, this strait forms the boundary between Arabicos Kolpos, or the Red Sea, and the main area of the Erythra Thalassa, most of which we now know as the Indian Ocean. It was known by the Hellenes as Deire, the neck, since on either side of the strait Africa and Arabia come close to one another, and the strait is squeezed between them for several kilometers, creating the appearance of a neck. The Hellenes probably appropriated the name from the merchants of Erythra Thalassa. Herodotus claimed that the straits were crossed by the Egyptian conqueror Sesostris, though modern authorities doubt that the Egyptians ever controlled the straits and debate whether Sesostris existed at all. Most of the traffic around the straits was passing through by the sea, rather than moving from Africa to Arabia. Merchant vessels traveling the routes from India to Berenike had to pass through Deir, which developed a reputation for having turbulent waters. However, there were several important trading centers just outside of the straits, and some of these, such as Musa in Arabia, became halfway depots. Merchants could travel to these places and back home again rather than making an entire journey. The nearby port of Adulis on the African side was a key site for the ivory trade. The straits and the mountains running south and west from them in Africa formed a sort of a frontier between Ethiopia and the far side of Africa. It provides a trade bonus for Semitic and East Greek factions. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Next thing is Shabuat and the region and what we can actually get of. We read actually most of the provinces. The province of Saba, we have read about it. We read the province of Himyar and of course the Red Sea Straits. In Timar we read the province of Qataban. In Nairan we read province Mayen. We read the damnable thing, didn't we? Yes, we did. I think we did, but I'm just gonna say we did it. I honestly can't always remember. I come after a few days of playing this beautiful, fantastic mod, so most of things I can't really always remember, by the way. Sad, I know, and I cry at night sometimes. So first of all, I want to end the turn. In the next season, we'll see what happens, what we gain, what we lose. My important thing is, because of the massive, as you can see yourself by the map, where our city really is by the camera point. This massive province is massive. It's a elongated thing around Rubalcali, and this is the thing, is the problem is Makkah. The province of Makkah. And I'm worried about, we know that there is an enemy rebel town. Wet War, of course, they're far away, so no rebel towns, any of that. This is the one that we take and we gain the province of Makkah. But so that we need to put some watchtowers just in case of possible enemy expansions, if not enemy possible raiders from the Great Desert of Rub al-Khali. So we'll see soon in the next turn how all this goes for us. We have our spy in Shavuot, so he will have a huge insight towards many things. So again, we'll have to move him out of Shavuot and go into the Rub al-Khali and just see if possible enemy nomads All that actually want to hurt the great Saba tribe, if they dare come across it towards any of our provinces, any of our cities, of course, more than anything else. And we okay, Multan Abatu. So they were one of this faction that we can actually play as. I honestly just wanted to play as a faction closest to the, well, that is the Arabia itself, represents the Arabia, and above all is near my favorite desert of all time, where the nameless city resides, Rub al-Khali. And that is the only one that we know at the moment, which is, of course, Saba, and the only faction specific there. As far as I know, in medieval Total War, there is a specific amount of factions you can actually have. I think up to 30 factions, if I'm not mistaken, or less. I could be lying, but around that, near that number. So you can't really have thousands of factions like you would have in your games. Which again, something that I really adore about newer Total War games. You can have all the smallest factions, almost, you know, like the minute factions have like some kind of position and which you can play with and defeat the bigger factions. I like that so much. So first and foremost, end of the turn report. Thank you very much. Profits 4,575, baby. Excellent. Next thing, a horde on a horizon. Oh, new guys. A vast horde of nomads is encroaching upon your land and is bearing down upon the gates of your cities. Perhaps they are merely passing through your lands and conquest is not their goal, we are sure. But like locusts, they will still devastate all that lies in their path. It might be wiser to send your armies forth to challenge them. Oh, okay. Across the sea and all that. Thankfully, we have actually a beautiful sight. With two ports here. So again, we have a site and they have a little bastardly island here that they just spawned on. Ooh, this is gonna be a very interesting thing. This, I would dare go across it, but I need to build something in our ports. And we do have an ability to actually build stuff in our ports. Not at the moment, I guess. But we will have at some point. That is the Afluku. The Arabian fleet, no less. Retraining. Why the hell not? It's only 184. I'm gonna do it now. I could have done it before. So I see we have a tributary state and we have the basic regional pacification. And after that, we have a better version of regional pacification, which is a half of a controlled state, tributary state kind of bullcrap. But we can just make them a tributary state, which is an interesting thing. Again, it's something we have not done yet, and I will not do it. I will do it for Maka province just to see how it looks and how it feels. It's not a huge chunk. Like it gives you, this region has been pacified in preparation for installing a regime friendly to your cause. This refers towards establishing a client ruler who comes from the ally style building, which is next. So again, I think this is actually the very first you have the ability to have a tributary state, which is one word I was like killing myself about, and I guess I'm forgetting the name of it. Fuck, that I was killing myself a few videos ago about having this not tributary state, but it is a tributary state. A vassal, there it is. But I think it's the same shit, to be honest. I think it's the same crap. But no, we will not go here. We're gonna regional pacification immediately. That's a we have read about regional pacification. So if you're not eat one of the videos, I mean, you have to watch actual videos if you actually give a shit. So, Horde on the Horizon, faction announcement. Oh ho ho, Prince, increase for Luhaych Malk Saba, +1 influence, +1 command, and +1 to personal security. And Halig Bayin, which is of course son-in-law of the brother of our king, Desert Warrior, +5% movement. His full benefits are only acquired when in desert region. Okay, so that's just basically movement across the map. Okay, just to note this. Movement across this massive map, this beautiful map also. Trading is on Bin Malik Yet Khamar Malk Saba. There you go. Attune Governor, influence +1 to personal security, -1 unrest, +1 command when defending, -1 command when attacking, -10% movement, ending his turn outside the settlement or traveling will reset this affinity. And retinue sent for Ram Il Watar, which is he is in Iran, physician, +1 fertility. having children. He already has a child, good for him, or the king's son does not, by the way. So we got the irrigated farming, which is maybe a little bit more upgraded thing, and we got it in Timna, by the way. That's just good. Retraining of Asps in Mariab, always a good one. Sabian Common Levy. I don't think I read about them, but I'm gonna slowly see what I would read first and foremost, which is more important than the other stuff. And this is also one of the things I don't think I've read, by the way. I will read it immediately. Border Trade Resource. Trade good +1. Description. This province has neighbors whom it trades with frequently. Neighbors who are not on the map and thus not able to be represented by the medieval two-toll war engine. This building makes up for some of the income the province should be getting, but it's currently left out as a result of the map's edge not taking that trade into account. The province of Diamat and Hadramat received some trade with provinces to the south along East African coast. They have a bonus of 1 added to their trade base income. There you go. This is one of the things I actually wanted to read. There are a lot of things, honestly, that the UK, like a lot of buildings I want to also go through to see and read and learn. Like I love these things. I really adore these things. And again, this is gonna be very boring for most of you, but it's still considering a really nice thing just to do and honor the developers in some way. At least this is the best way I can do it. Oh boy, tax penalty, high tax rate. I'm gonna go on a normal at the moment. Ooh, population growth, famine is a problem. Famine is a problem. We have the extensive irrigation. I mean, and we have also the Great Marib Dam. Income, expenses, local farming income, and we still have famine. Interesting. Wow, Port Town requires 6,000 Menai. School of Scribe, Temple of Akhtar, Field of Games, fortifications. Now, if the horde is really coming, we would be needing a big ass army again, to be honest. We at the moment only have like one army that is of any use to us, and considering that the horde is coming behind the beautiful sea of unknown, we will be moving the spy towards that. And our spy agent, Samachat Yafish spy, is the person of interest to us. Because again, he has a massive site and he will stay there for a while. I want to see if they dare come towards us on this point. Of course, I mean, Hell's Bells, we do not know from where exactly what their direction is going to be to invade us, if they do. I don't know how that's gonna work. I like these events, by the way. Really, they make the game a little bit more scary. Very more scary. Retrain anyone that is possible. No units to retrain. I'm okay with that. We can get another spy, which would not be a bad thing. But first, construction. Always a construction. So Mariab or the smaller. No, first let's see that I have taken into the account for everybody. Royal Governor, client, or get the client servant. See, if you get actually the Royal Governor in Temna, not just the client servant. The Zafar is an issue. Zafar still doesn't have any ability to get population, normal taxes, low taxes, 1.5. I need population growth. I think that's because of the population growth that we're not having able to build anything there, which is not the greatest thing, but income is really like only by 100 increase, which is nothing, to be honest. So I'm gonna low tax rate. Is there any more? Very high. Okay, low tax rate. We want 1.5 increase in population gain. I would say that's more important. The enemy could go towards this location also, so there is that. Okay, the next thing is, what can we get? We have 3,000. Mariab. Okay, Field of Games, which would give us the, against this Undreth thing, public order bonus to the happiness, experience bonus root train here also. Good thing, by the way. Very good thing. Very good thing. I have taken Shabuat and excellent regional pacification and retraining. We will get these field games. Or maybe not, or maybe yes, or maybe not. Like, what? After all, Mariab is the most important thing to us. but also would like to see what we can do in Iran. And Iran has civil unrest also, so again, civil unrest, interesting. Again, they have arid nomadism. I think one of the temples would be more preferable. The shrine of Almach would be more preferable, or Akhtar. I don't know which one to choose, to be honest, because public order due to happiness 5% due to law. So law or happiness. Law or happiness. I love my people happy, to be honest. God of Thunder. I might go for that one. It's only 800. Let's go for happiness. Civil unrest again. Yeah, I'm happy about it. We have some corruption, and arid nomadism is very, very strong within this place. We do have this new home thing, but I would not really put this at the moment. Yeah, losers on public order due to happiness minus 5%. Interesting. Happiness. Happiness is a good thing. I will go for Akhtar, Shrine of Akhtar. So the cult of Akhtar was commonly known throughout the tribes of South Arabia as the chief divinity of their pantheon. He was the god of thunderstorms and rain, as opposed to the artificial irrigation of the arid zones. Akhtar was the god of thunder, and was often known by the epithet Sharikwan, or the eastern god. As to the morning position of the planet Venus, he was a vengeful god who was invoked against desecrators of graves. He was primarily associated with ritual hunt, along with another divinity known as Kirom. Sabaean sovereigns conducted these ritual hunts mainly for the purpose of obtaining rain, which may explain why the gazelle is Akhtar's animal attribute. He also presided over the federation ceremonies, which integrated diverse tribal groups into the Sabaean state. Oh, this is perfect then one for us. At this level, this temple is no more than a simple shrine. It is adorned with pillars, and the cult statue sits in a small walled enclosure. A single priest attends the shrine, and can become a boon to those who dedicate space to Akhtar in their cities. Yes, I will get you. You are the main one we'll be gaining. Excellent. Thank you very much. I'm going back to shop what for some reason. Field of Games. We'll be getting also this. Public order bonus, again 5%. A game field provides public entertainment of many sorts. Parades, horse and camel races, and all manner of competition can take place for people's enjoyment. Not only does it show that this city is prosperous enough to fund projects secondary to its needs, but also lets the people think highly of their rulers for providing such a facility to them, not to mention the fact that profits are sure to come from ticket sales. We'll be gaining that also. Thank you very much. My army is ready, is capable, so I'll not have to worry about them. The next thing I'm gonna go is for the Ptolemy dynasty. I want to get some kind of trade with them, of course, understandable. Get a good standing with them before we go into the war. But war is such a dirty word after all, or even stabbing them back. I don't want to really do that. But some must die for the greater good. And the greater good is always in Saba Tribe, and we fight for it after all, for our peoples. And of course, the great deserts of Rubal Khali, which has such beautiful secrets within that we need to excavate down the line. I'm not seeing much of them at the moment, nor any cities that we approached in Delta, a Nile Delta, so to speak. Well, it is, but hey. 789, I'm okay with it. We can end the turn, and in the next turn, I'm just gonna read what we gain. What we gain in exactly these two: Socotra, and of course the province of Hadramat. And there is a long read there, my friends. So again, hopefully you will enjoy it, or you will not. I did not want to play also as a faction that is massive. like very strong factions. I do not find an enjoyment in playing them anymore. Like when I was younger, yes. When I'm now older, I want to play as a smaller faction, growing into a bigger faction if possible. There won't be reloads in any type of failure. So if I fail a battle, I lose those troops, they are lost forever. I like to play always in Iron Man mode. Did not, of course, when I was younger. You will always like reload a battle. But in terms of this now, I like challenge. Not too much, sometimes I get annoyed. Actually, I get annoyed very fast as older I get. But one of the things I really adore is the ability for you to choose how you're going to play certain games. And games like Total War or Paradox games, they are full of love. There's so many details, and you know, I just want to just delve into those games, and if I have time to just stay there and click and click and click and just, you know, like take my small faction, make it something bigger. You know, when you have bigger faction, you already have huge armies, possibility for easier conquest. Maybe down the line it gets harder, but usually it's not so. So getting from a smaller faction that I would also enjoy to play as. I don't want to just play as any faction, I want to historically enjoy that faction. So again, I chose a Saba due to the Rub al Khali Desert, and mostly because of the Rub al Khali Desert. Because that desert, again, to me, it's very important. I'm a very big H.P. Lovecraft fan, and the Nameless City is one of my favorite, not the favorite, one of my favorite stories of H.P. Lovecraft. So, end of the turn report, 3,768, it is fine. Town ready for upgrade, Timna, yay! This town has gathered enough new citizens to become a large town, thus making new buildings and recruitment options available. But first you must upgrade your wooden palisade to a wooden wall. You do not have to do this immediately, but as the population increases further, overcrowding will eventually begin to increase squalor, and slow down growth. And that's exactly what we'll be doing with the amount of money we have. Thank you very freaking much. The wooden wall is a good thing. We have 2010 households, so there is that. How many do we have in Mariab? In Mariab, 5,000. Mariab, after all, but still does not have better. He still has the most basic wooden wall, which will be gaining in Timna. Oh, sorry, no, yeah, wooden palisade and wooden wall, two different things. Okay, my bad. So yes, okay, so we need a lot more household for Timna to upgrade down the line, but we'll go for the wooden wall. We'll read, of course, this, because this is one thing I'm taking. To reinforce gates, extra wall defenses. And of course, we already read siege equipment required. Again, due to hardcore limits, there are a number of settlements that do not require specific siege equipment to be built. And of course, we already read this. Roman, Greek, Eastern, and Semitic, any siege equipment can be used in settlements of these cultures. Barbarian, large town, use battering ram only. Nomadic, small camp, and large camp do not require any siege equipment, however, you need to build at least one ram. We've seen that in Iran, which is only a camp. So we've seen that. As population grows and develops through the diversification and specialization of labor, the necessary institutions to connect their disparate population centers and farming regions. With these connections and relationships in place, it is possible for each region to mutually support one another through trade, further allowing for specialization in labor culminating in richer culture and social and political life. With the development of bureaucracy and political administration, the state can begin to provide direction for population centers and develop infrastructure to improve trade, communication, and provide for military strength. However, apart from the seat of power in the land, populations are still spread out over large distances. This can make it difficult for these diverse populations to call upon shared identities that transcend their familiar and familial backgrounds. With such diverse set of identities and a culture that has not yet begun to bind them, centralized statehood is not yet achievable. A king, seeking to further extend his influence, must rely on traditional power structures at the very local level. He must work with tribal elders and village headmen to draw upon economic power that will wield in the small region. So, But as the population grows and there's more trade links, each family and each village and each tribe to the next, relationships and the identities can begin to mix. And in this melting pot of trade and interdependency, culture that incorporates the diverse natures of its creators can begin to emerge and offer an identity that can be uniformly shared throughout a land. Strategy. This building represents the complexity of the social and political structures inherent in the populace of the province as a whole, but particularly those elements that live outside of the main settlement or polis. As the population grows and the province industrial infrastructure develops, the complexity of social and political relationships and the structures of a society are strengthened by the division of roles and labor made possible by the large population and more sophisticated industry. The complexity of a populace, society, and political structure directly controls the availability of infrastructure and civic buildings. This level represents a low median complexity of the social and political structure of the native populace of this province. It will limit the availability of anything but the lowest level of most infrastructure buildings and may limit some levels of most civic buildings. When population of the province reaches certain levels and if certain infrastructure buildings have been constructed, then the next level will be available to be built. Thank you very much. And we'll do that immediately. 4 turns. It's worth it, I believe at least that it is worth it. Now again, I will say that I'm a little bit just worried about Zafar at the moment due to an inability to actually do anything with it. House for 800, 637. I'm hoping for the best. I really am. We have a tax bonus, we have tax rate bonus, and of course population growth is there, improvement by 1%. And again, also Eastern Tribal States. 10 out of 10, I would say. 10 out of 10. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this video right here because I have moved more important units to me. I have not actually moved, my bad. Let's finish it with the trade. Let's finish this this beautiful video with trade of some sort. Oh, Memphis, no less, right in front of my diplomat. I was going to trader. He looks like a trader. I'm sorry, but he does. Memphis, right in front of us. Let's talk and gain some possible trade. Reputation is mixed. Their supreme power. Wealth is meager. Hellenistic polities. Okay, allies. Of course, these guys, enemies, Macedonia, Seleucid, Pontus, and of course, as always, rebels. Trade rights, immediately balanced, make an offer, barely accepted, thank you very much. Now, one more thing before we end this. Trade is 583, it was 563 or something like that, with the other, when we gained, before we took the trade with the tribe that is next to the Ptolemy. I can't really remember the name now. But there is that trade, which is always a good thing. To know that any type of trade, even though exactly like, I mean, we have a lot of things, incense and all that, we can trade with anyone. But we'll see how that develops down the line. So we have finished with the trade, and this is the end of the video. I wish you the very best. I hope you enjoyed it. As again, no battles of any sorts in probably next few videos, expecting it to be the same as it is now. Slowly reading, boring you to that with the amazing mod that this Europa Barbarorum 2 is. I wish you the very best. Next time, more love, more drugs, and as always, more Europa Barbarorum 2, the greatest mod for Total War.